Good morning, St. Paul's. Today is October 15th, 2025, and you are watching Wolf TV, bringing you the latest news, sports, entertainment, and everything in between. We are live, and we have a great show for you today. Here are the announcements for today. Ever dreamed of a life in the exciting world of live television? Have ideas for content and want to contribute? All those interested in helping with Wolf TV broadcasts should come to a short meeting in the Benilde Hall first floor studio. Thursday, after school. The meeting will last about 30 minutes. The Spanish Club is meeting in Miss Guillot's classroom today at lunch. Join us to hear Senor Nunez's story of coming to Covington, Louisiana from Colombia. Fellowship of Christian Athletes, better known as FCA, meetings will be held at lunch in the theater and are open to all grades. The meeting is today, so grab your lunch first, then grab a friend and come check it out. Any questions, please see Coach Fontenot in the gym. Backed by the popular demand, let's kick it off old school with a little segment we like to call Faculty of the Day. Spin it!
Welcome to Faculty of the Day. And say it with me. Spin that wheel! Congratulations to Miss Dunn. You're the Faculty of the Day.
Congrats on being the Faculty of the Day, Miss Dunn. Come to PJ's Coffee anytime this week and receive your free drink. PJ's is open during lunch in the library, and they have 5 different drinks: the Oreo Frozen, White Chocolate Frozen, Frozen Hot Chocolate, Iced Coffee, and the Brotherkin. Come get yourself a drink, and if anyone wants to help at PJ's, go talk to Mr. Mullet and set up a schedule with him. Now let's look at today's news. The government remains in a shutdown for 2 weeks now, marking the 5th longest shutdown in U.S. history. The Senate is preparing for an 8th vote on a House-passed short-term funding bill, which had repeatedly failed to secure the 60 votes needed to advance. The shutdown started over a clash over health care subsidies. Democrats are demanding an extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credit before open enrollment begins November 1st, while Republicans insist on passing the funding bill first and debating policy later. In addition, President Donald Trump has directed the Pentagon to use all available funds to ensure military personnel are paid on time, with checks expected to go out Wednesday. Coast Guard members will also receive pay, according to Security Secretary Kristi Noem. However, most federal workers remain furloughed or working without pay. With the shutdown officially being in its 2nd week, there are now many concerns about this could possibly be the longest shutdown in U.S. history.
There are several Halloween-themed seasonal events coming up this weekend in Covington. Saturday, there's a Monster Mash at Bogafly Park in Covington from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The event includes trick-or-treating, cookie decorating, music, crafts, carnival rides. Also, on this Saturday, for those who dare, is the Field of Screams event where participants can take a terrifying sunset stroll down the Blue Swamp Creek Nature Trail in Covington. The city's fire and police departments have teamed up to create eerie stage scenes along the trail with a host of unexpected haunts showing up along the way. The event is free and intended for older children, teens, and adults. Also, on Saturday, for those looking to get their candy fix a little early, check out the Trick or Treat event at Fontainebleau State Park near Mandeville from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. The trick-or-treating will take place in the campground area of the park. As Halloween approaches, the fall season is definitely upon us, and there's no shortage of spooky events to take part in. Now here comes Wolf TV Trivia.
Now let's look at today's sports news. The 25-26 NBA season is rapidly approaching and begins in earnest with opening night on October 21st. The season kicks off with a game between the Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder and will broadcast on NBC. The Pelicans' first game will take place on Wednesday, October 22nd, when the Pels take on divisional rival, the Memphis Grizzlies. Last year, the Pelicans had a rough season that was once again marred by injury and sloppy management from the top down. Zion Williamson once again missed a majority of the season with hamstring and back injuries, getting shut down completely as early as March last year. The outlook for 25-26 looks positive at the outset. Zion will be back and claims to be in great shape and ready to lead the team. The loss of C.J. McCollum will put a spotlight on Jordan Poole, but we will have heavy shoes to fill as McCollum averaged 21 points per game last season. Herb Jones saw his three-point percentage dip from 42% in 23-24 to 30% last year. But when he's making shots, he's a smart, versatile piece who cuts, drives, and makes quick reads. The Pels have their work cut out for them, to be sure. They have struggled both on and off the court for the last few years, and at best seems to be stumbled their way into a low-tier playoff berth by accident at the end of each season, or they finish with one of the worst overall records in the NBA, like they did last year. Rumors about the team leaving for bigger markets have persisted since the Hornets came in 2002, but at some point the question will become more than speculation, and investors will have a harder time justifying having the franchise in the Big Easy. Here at Wolf TV, we proudly support our New Orleans Pelicans and will update on the new season with zeal and an infinite sense of optimism.
The United Rugby Championship is currently taking place, with only 4 teams: Argentina, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. All teams are extremely talented, especially the 2023 World Cup champions, South Africa. South Africa standing at number 1, New Zealand at number 2, and Australia at number 3, and Argentina at number 4. The teams have finished up Week 6 with New Zealand winning against Australia 24-14, and South Africa's close win against Argentina 29-27. With the South Africa standing giving them a championship of the 2025's Men's International Rugby Championship, this has been the first championship the Springboks have won since 2019.
Finally, last night, in Game 2 of the NLCS, the Dodgers beat the Brewers 5-1, improving to 2-0 in the 5-game series. The Seattle Mariners lead the ALCS series 2-0, and Game 3 of their series against the Toronto Blue Jays takes place tonight at 7 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. Game 3 of the NLCS will take place on a Thursday night doubleheader, which promises to be yet another fun night of baseball. Now it's time for Song of the Day.
Now let's take a look at the world of entertainment and other things. The entertainment world is mourning the death of famed star of stage and screen, Diane Keaton, who died earlier this week at the age of 79. Her death was confirmed Saturday by her family. She died in California, surrounded by loved ones. Though the cause remained private at this time, Keaton's impact on film spans more than 5 decades. She won an Academy Award for Annie Hall and gave unforgettable performance in the Godfather series, The Five Wives Club, Something's Gotta Give, Look Who's Talking Now, and many more. According to friends, her health declined very suddenly in recent months, catching many off guard. Hollywood has already began pouring out tributes to Keaton's storied career. Co-stars and collaborators recall her as fearless, genuine, and hilarious. Rest in peace, Miss Keaton.
Back in September, Devolver Digital released a new game, Baby Steps, an interesting take on walking simulator games. The game stars Nate, an unemployed 30-somethings man who spends most of his days in his parents' basement watching One Piece anime. The narrative kicks off with his parents debating how they should get their wayward son motivated when he is mysteriously warped into a strange and desolate landscape with no map, no direction, and no idea how to return. The game then truly begins and presents a simple objective: Just walk. The trick to the game is that the act of walking is a difficult tightrope physics simulator that often sees Nate tripping over himself in hilarious ways. A large mountain looms on the horizon, and the player is given the objective to make it to the top. The game encourages exploration, as veering off the main path often rewards you with hats or other trinkets. However, there are no stats to improve, no quest lists to check off, or any of the other things that often bloat out modern games. There's just you and the quiet, often hilarious, walking as Nate makes his way through the wilderness while confronting the physiological factors that keep him in a permanent failure to launch state. The biggest surprise of the game is that the narrative is actually deeply compelling and tells an emotional story about the difficulties of self-improvement in the midst of apathy and fear of failure. Ultimately, Baby Steps is a fun, funny, introspective experience that offers a lot more than just the endless memes of a man in a one-side pajama sliding face first down a mountain.
Finally, in the spirit of Halloween, we'll hear a tale from the crypt.
Today's story, The Last Call. Jake never slept well when the wind picked up. His old house creaked like it had lungs, groaning with every gust of wind. That night, the storm outside had finally quieted, but the silence was worse. It pressed against him like a weight. That's when his phone buzzed, 3:17 a.m., a number he didn't know. Half asleep, he almost ignored it, but something made him swipe the answer. The line hissed with static. Then a hollow, echoing voice whispered,
"Don't look outside."
Jake sat up in bed, heart hammering. "Who is this?" he whispered, but the line went dead. He set the phone down, telling himself it was a prank, wrong number, something normal, but his hand kept drifting toward the curtain. Curiosity gnawed at him until he couldn't resist. He pulled it back. A figure stood across the street, perfectly still in the pale orange glow of the streetlight. It was impossibly tall, thin, and its head told too far to one side. The shape wasn't clear, like the air around it warped reality, blurring its face. The phone buzzed again. Same number. Jake answered, voice shaking. The whisper returned. This time it wasn't distant. It was right behind his ear.
"Now you let us see you."
He dropped the phone. The screen went black as if it had died. When he looked back outside, the figure was gone. Then 3 knocks at his bedroom door. Jake froze. He lived alone. He forced himself to whisper, "Who's there?" The doorknob twitched, slowly. Deliberately, he backed away, grabbing the heaviest thing he could, a lamp, and raised it like a weapon. The door creaked open on its own. Darkness spilled in, thick as smoke. The hall beyond wasn't his hall anymore. It stretched far longer, the wallpapers peeling, lights flickering like they belonged to a different house entirely. And in that hall, the figure waited. Its blurred face leaned forward as if peering directly at him. Jake stumbled back. His phone went buzzing again on the floor. He didn't want to answer, but his hand moved on without his control. He pressed it to his ear. The voice whispered,
"When you open the curtain, you open the door. Now you belong here."
By morning, Jake's house was empty. His bed was neatly made. His phone lay silent on the nightstand. And at 3:17 a.m. the next night, it rained again. A new number appeared, and somewhere else, another restless sleeper reached to answer. Join us next time, Wolves, for another scary story.
Why do ghosts like elevators?
Why?
They lift their spirits. That's our show for today, Wolves. Thank you for watching Wolf TV, and until next time, let's make it a great day.